Good evening, everyone. We're here for the regular council meeting of November 16th. We'll do quick introductions first, and then we'll jump right into it. So with us, we have Councilor Joel Lemoine, CEO Mitch Duval. Evening. Myself, Chris Ewan. We have Councilor Janine Boulanger.
Evening, everybody.
We have Councilor Jason Bodnerchuk. And our Assistant CEO, Dominic Lemoine. So this will be a hybrid meeting for the people watching, but all the council is here save one councilor this evening. Voting will be done in person. I will call for the question, they'll raise their hands. And then once we get into the public hearings, I will explain the process. Having said that, we will jump right into it. Item number 1, meeting called to order. Do I have a mover? Councilor Boulanger, second. Councilor Lemoine. Any questions before we start? I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much. I open the meeting at 7:02 p.m. Item 2, adoption of the agenda. Do I have a mover? Councilor Bodnerchuk, second. Councilor Lemoine, thank you. Any questions, changes, or edits to the agenda? Is council okay with proceeding as is, or would they like to go right to the public hearings? My recommendation is just continue as is. No? Okay, thank you.
Quick.
Thank you. Nothing else? I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Item 3, adoption of minutes. Do I have a mover? Councilor Boulanger, second. Councilor Lemoine.
Last regular council meeting was held November 1st. Basically, we swore in the new council at the time. Once the meeting was officially open, we received a delegation from Eco West Canada, as well as representatives from the RCMP. And a letter of credit was released due to the warranty expiring.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Any questions for council? Nothing? Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 4.1, accounts paid to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councilor Bodnerchuk, second. Councilor Boulanger.
Batch 16638 in the amount of $224,435. This is in relation to the boat launch dock project in Sandy Gap and regarding ISIP funding.
Thank you. Any questions from council?
Can you elaborate on the asset funding? It's coming through.
Basically they need to show payment of the project to the RM. We reimburse them their money so that they are not short. Once the RCIP money is received at their end, they will flip it back to us. Some money juggling game.
Yeah, same. I just wanted to know if that was.
I got your email as well for tonight, for your project, yes.
Good. Good. Your hair's still together? Perfect. Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 4.2, accounts not paid to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councilor Lemoine, second. Councilor Boulanger.
3 batches, 16664, which is a tax refund of $2,600. 16643, it's an EFT amount for $2856. And the big batch, 16642, in the amount of $6,510,000. Basically, for council, there's a summary provided, but for the public here, it's because of collection of taxes. We need to remit the school taxes, their portion, as we collect the schools as well. We collected 76% of taxes as of October 31st, so we will be remitting almost $6 million right back to the province and to the school divisions locally. There's also an amount of about $287,000 for disaster financial assistance, flood repairs that Public Works are going through right now.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. CEO. Is there any questions from council?
Yeah, there's somewhere in here, there's 4 or 5 school divisions that.
I think we have 5 school divisions and 1 for the province.
Oh, okay, right here.
Hanover, Seine River, Louisiana, Seine, and Sunrise.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Anything else? You can jump in.
No.
No? Okay. Okay. I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. 4.3, payroll to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councilor Bodnerchuk, second. Councilor Lemoine, thank you.
Payroll 22, which runs from October 9th to the 22nd. There's some administration bank hours that was incurred As far as public works, just some minor overtime, which is, on the utility side, so.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Carried, thank you. 4.4 check signing authority. Do I have a mover? Councillor Boulanger, second. Second. Councillor Blanchard, thank you.
Basically, with the change of council, we need to address the check signing situation of the case financier. Recommendation of council is to replace former councillor Manchuk with councillor Jason Barbanchuk, being from Sandoval.
Perfect. Makes sense, nice and easy. Any other comments? Call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried, thank you. Okay, we'll move into public hearings now. So just a quick understanding how the process goes this evening. We have the online option and on-phone option and in-person option if anyone wants to speak. So I will open the public hearing and I'll ask anyone wishing to speak in favor, in person, and then it'll be in favor online or on the phone, and then I'll say anything received in favor. At that point, Mr. CEO will give us letters that we may or may not read, just depending on what it is. And then we will go into anyone wishing to speak against. You would then speak against in person, then against on the phone or online, and then I'll ask if there's anything received against. Oh, sorry, before that, if there's a presentation to be made at the very start, we'll ask them to come up first, that person to come up first and present, so we all understand what the public hearing is for. And then, so in favor and then against, and then after it's been called once on each side, I will ask if there's any final comments which should be made in person and then online or on the phone, and then I will close the public hearing and then council will debate. So we will start 5.1.1 B25 2022 Dandon Corporation 438 Dotaiche Street.
The proposal is to vary the following for a purpose of a two-family dwelling. First, the front yard setback from 30 feet to 10 feet, and secondly, the rear yard setback from 25 feet to 5 feet. Notices were sent out according to the Planning Act to 100 meters of the property, as well as circulated internally, as well as posted on site at the Ile-des-Chênes Country Store, on our municipal board, municipal website, and the Connect message reminder was sent out November 10th.
Thank you. We'll open the public hearing at 7:09 p.m. Take it away.
Good evening, Council, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to clarify that we're not applying for the two-family dwelling, that it is permitted use in this area. So all we're trying to do is make it so that we can, instead of doing a two-story or a split level, which is getting less attractive over time, doing a bungalow, which then of course takes up more of the square footage of the parcel. We're restricted to 60% of the parcel. We're not asking for any increase on that. What we are asking though is allowing us to increase the footprint, and in doing so, when we hit the 60% mark, if we do hit that, we're going to be closer to the front and back unless we go to the second level. So that's what we're seeking today, and it was council's input. So we did change the layout. I don't know if council did receive the layout where we now have two driveways as a result of council's input from a preliminary review, just confirming that if ever it was subdivided in the future, which is not contemplated at this time, it would easily be subdivided as opposed to the original drawing, which was provided, which wouldn't have permitted that. So that new drawing would allow for that, which totally makes sense. I did want to bring to council's attention a photo that I took. I had to black out the vehicle particulars, but this is the neighbor's property, and we were originally looking to set back similar to them. So I've done an estimate because we did have the property survey. It originally looked around 10 feet. In fact, I would think probably more in the 15 to 20 foot range. So, depending on council's input, we would be fine if that was reduced, instead of the frontage being 10, perhaps going to 15.
You were gonna say something?
Most of us know
Sorry,
who
yeah.
she is, but she did not introduce
My
herself.
fault.
Sorry, my
Mrs. Mona
apologies.
Jolene. Yeah, that's my fault. I apologize.
Mona Jordan on behalf of Dandon Corporation, thank you.
My ignorance, because I think I know everyone. Perfect. Any questions?
Where are we looking at here? The neighbor?
So
17 and a half feet back?
that fire hydrant right there is in front of my lot. So what I did is and I know that the property line is lining up with it because we've had it surveyed.
Okay,
So what I was trying to get an idea, because I don't wanna be any closer to the road than they are.
right,
So I was trying to get an idea, without trespassing on their property, exactly how far that is. So I went and measured it approximately from the gable setback, and that's just a guesstimate, but it is more than the 10, so I'm just bringing that to council's attention.
right.
On the right-hand side?
So on the south side.
So the setback is to the foundation, not the gable, so if you're looking more, it's almost like, not a foot and a half, like
I would say
19
probably,
feet.
I would say safely, to be safe, 20.
20,
Yeah.
and you're asking for 10, but you might go further back just because of that.
Yes, yeah, so I would say like 15 to kind of split it, that'd be totally fine. With the new sketch that I provided, it did indicate that we would need wider driveways, and that would allow then full entrance into the garage, just like this property has, so that they can drive right into the garage.
Okay.
For both.
Anything else from council? No? Okay, thank you, I appreciate that, Laura.
Thank you.
Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor, in person? Anyone online or on the phone wishing to speak in favor? Anything received in favor?
Nothing received in favor.
Is there anyone wishing to speak against in person? Anyone wishing to speak against online or on the phone? Anything received against?
We have a letter received against from Romeo and Sue Marchand of 459 First Avenue. We are against this application. Row housing is usually set back 25 to 30 feet. Building a structure 10 feet from the road will not look right. Having a rooftop deck overlooking into neighbors' yards would be invading privacy. Multifamily dwellings require multiple parking spots. Where are these people going to park? Having a structure 5 feet from the neighbor's property would make it impossible for the fire department to attend a fire in the rear without trespassing on private property.
Thank you. Anything else? That's it. Is there anyone, one last call, is there anyone wishing to speak, make a comment, speak in favor or against, in person, online, or on the phone? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing at 7:14 PM. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Lemoine.
Therefore be it resolved that variation application V25-2022 to vary the minimum required front yard distance from 30 feet to 10 feet and the rear yard distance from 25 feet to 5 feet for the purpose of a two-family dwelling is approved with the following conditions. That the applicant shall obtain a building permit from the Arm of Reach office. 2, that the elevation of the new building and drainage shall coincide with surrounding areas. 3, that the applicant shall provide an elevation survey of the adjacent property lines and their buildings to determine proper design and of the new development, including yard drainage, building height, and driveway access. 4, that the drainage of the lot shall be from back to front and not affecting the neighboring properties. 5, that the sump pump discharge locations shall be on the sides of the building and near the front to be directed and discharged to the front yard.
Thank you. I'll open up for council discussion. Council, do you have anything to add? Any comment on?
I unfortunately was not at time, so I was looking this over and trying to figure it all out. And I should have asked the question earlier, but I'm still looking at everything. If they change it from 10 feet setback to more like 15, then that is 0 setback on the rear yard, so I don't know how it can go back any further.
Normally we don't, but I'll
Sorry,
accept it.
that's my ignorance.
It's okay. We'll allow Councillor Belanger's, accident. Go ahead.
The total square footage is that's just a drawing that would not require additional setback, to 0. So that sketch is just a rough drawing of what we anticipate the structure to be shaped like.
Oh, okay,
And it
thank you.
doesn't even, like, it doesn't reflect the 60% consumption at all,
Gotcha.
so we do not require, if you go to 15, to reduce to 0.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
Yep.
Anything else from council?
No, I had thought for that snow clearing issue there, that would have to be sent away, I guess, and not dumped on the street, I guess, so limited space there.
Yeah, 'cause there's a school right across the street there too, right?
Yes. Okay. Nothing else? Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none, that is carried. Thank you. Moving on to 5.2.1, C16 2022 GIS Electrical Services LTD, 667 Discovery Drive.
The proposal is to allow a general contractor service consisting of commercial/industrial mechanical services in a commercial general zone. Again, notices have been sent out to 100 meters of the said property, circulated internally, as well as posted on site on their municipal window, municipal website, and the connect message was sent out November 10th.
Thank you. Open the public hearing at 7:17 PM. Is there anyone wanting to make a presentation?
Just explain that.
Yeah, sure, come on, sir. Just your name for the record.
Darcy Jones.
Thank you, Darcy.
So what we're doing there is we're just, we're building a new building and we're moving our business from Winnipeg, into this area. We're an electrical contracting business, most of our work's in Winnipeg. We have a little bit of office staff and warehouse space that we're building, and I think we're following, along the lines with some of the other people in that area already, so we're hoping this is an easy decision.
Perfect. I always like to hear we're moving from A to come to Richard.
Yeah, that's right,
That's
yeah.
great to hear. Is there any questions from council for Darcy?
I just have a question about the extra building. So it looks like you've got like a very nice office, warehouse,
Yeah.
barn combination. And then off to the east, there's another building,
Yep, cold storage.
cold storage. Okay. That's something I'm curious about.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Nothing else from council? Okay, thank you very much, Darcy, appreciate it. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor in person? Anyone online wishing to speak in favor or on the phone? Anything received in favor?
Nothing received?
Perfect. Anyone wishing to speak against in person? Anyone wishing to speak against online or on the phone? Anything received against?
Nothing received against?
Perfect, thank you. One last calling, wishing to make any comments, speak in favor or against, online, on the phone, or in person? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing at 7:19 PM. Do I have a mover? Councillor Boulanger, second. Councillor Lemoine.
Therefore, be it resolved that conditional use application C16 2022 is approved, subject to the following conditions: that this use shall not be noxious, offensive, or hazardous by reason of emissions or production of odor, dust, refuse matter, waste, vapor, gas, smoke, vibration, or noise, and shall not create a nuisance beyond the property sightlines. 2, storage of hazardous liquids, materials, and substances shall be in approved containers. 3, applicant shall comply with the municipal noise bylaw 14-2003. 4, that the hours of operation shall be limited from 7 AM to 11 PM. 5, yard lighting is to be used. The applicant shall ensure that the levels of lighting do not cause any disruption or nuisance to the neighboring areas or affected roadways. 6, that the applicant shall maintain the area for proper drainage so to not affect adjacent properties. 7, that the items stored outside shall be kept in a tidy manner, not to create any unsightly appearances. 8, that the applicant shall ensure that all proposed construction conforms to the Manitoba Building Codes, Fire Codes, Health Standards, labor laws, and any other municipal and/or provincial permits and approvals as may be required. 9, that the applicant shall comply to the littering bylaw 5-2011. 10, that any signage shall comply with the municipal zoning bylaw 9-2019 part 11. And last, that the applicant shall provide a signed confirmation letter accepting the terms of this order. There may be site audits conducted to ensure compliance, and any non-compliance issues may be caused to revoke the conditional Just a reminder to council, and I believe this was communicated to the applicant, that they are backing onto that residential, development in North Grassy, that North Grassy has, and that there are no, windows up on the second level of the building.
Understood. Perfect. Okay, I'll open up for council discussion. Council, anything to add, make comment on?
No, like you said, I think it's great moving to Grand Point.
Yeah.
Welcome. Welcome to Seaford.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think that's good, and I know the products that usually are in the, or always in the industrial park of Grand Point always come out great, so it's a great development. So with that, I'll call for the question, all those in favor? Opposed, none, that is carried. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll just give 1 minute for everyone to leave that doesn't want to stay anymore. You're welcome to listen to us if you want. Okay. Next up, 5.3.1, bylaw 13, 2022, second reading.
This is in regards to amending our zoning maps 1 and 3 of the Richelieu zoning bylaw to reflect the rezoning of an area from agricultural limited zone to RG 8 residential general 8,000 zone and RG 5 residential general 5,000 zone for the purpose of a 65 lot residential development. The notices were sent out to surrounding properties, circulated internally, also posted on site at the Ile des Chênes Country Store, on the municipal board, municipal website, and the connect message was sent out November 10th.
Perfect. I will open the public hearing at 7:23 PM. Is there anyone wishing to make presentation? Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor in person? Anyone wishing to speak in favor online or on the phone?
Hi, Mr. Ewan, it's Candace Morrow.
Hi, Candace, go ahead.
First, welcome to the new counselors. It's nice to see the new faces and welcome back to the ones that are returning. You guys might get sick of me, so just heads up.
I'm not there yet, and I've been here for 5 years, so don't worry.
Okay, good, thanks. So this is just in relation to the subdivision that we had just prior to the new council joining on, where we were applying and had it approved to put in the new 65 lots. So now we're just following the rezoning just to make everything compliance so that once everything gets registered, we're legal.
Perfect. Council, do you have any questions for Candace while she's with us? Okay. Okay, that's it. Thank you, Candace. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor online? Anything received?
Nothing received.
Thank you. Is there anyone wishing to speak against in person? Anyone wishing to speak against online or on the phone? Anything received against?
We received a letter of objection from Cindy Neal. And I'll read that out loud. I, Cindy Neal, a resident of Ile des Chênes, would like to object to the rezoning of the land use, that being the municipality of Richelieu bylaw 13-2022, being an amendment of the zoning bylaw 9-2019. I believe that this development and intended land use will not serve future residents well, because there does not appear to be a plan yet in place to connect this part of the community to town. While I do believe that Ile des Chênes has long-awaited growth and additional housing, I do think we need to plan ahead carefully and be sure it is developed with much thought to livability rather than trying to fix mistakes after, when it is more costly to our municipality and more difficult. This looks like an island of houses along what is already a very busy throughway to the highway from town. I do not see a plan for sidewalks or cycling path or a green space for this area, nor do I see a way that it will interconnect with Ile des Chênes. Further, I would like to request that with growth, on the horizon for all of Ile-des-Shane, that a committee be formed of existing residents of our community to discuss and examine growth and ensure that it is growing in a beautiful way, and specifically following the McDonald-Reachot planning guidelines. I would also like to request to know if the McDonald-Reachot District Development Plan Committee has been consulted in all new developments being proposed in town. She therefore also submits quotes from our McDonald-Reachot planning document, 1.1.1 goals regarding district development centers. Urban centers are intended to be the principal growth areas in the planning district. They provide business and community services and facilities and opportunities for single-family and multifamily residential development. They would contain a mixture of local and regional serving business developments, opportunities, and local community services, including key municipal recreation and school facilities. The urban centers will be designed as interconnected neighborhoods and be pedestrian and cycle-oriented, with the potential for public transit links to Capital Region. The development plan identifies 7 urban centers, including Ile-des-Shane, St. Adolphe, Saint-Agathe, and the Arm-Reachot, and LaSalle, Oak Bluff, Sanford, and Starbuck in the Arm-McDonald. Also, 1.1.5 goals regarding planning collaboratively. The McDonald-Reachot District Development Plan contains broad strategic goals intended to help guide implementation. A key consideration in the implementation of the development plan is the partnership between municipalities of McDonald and Reachot, which formed the planning district and is the foundation of our cooperative approach to development management. This partnership is important as decisions are made every day which affect land use, development, infrastructure, and transportation. That is why the central focus of the planning district has been to create and maintain collaborative and shared decision-making responsibilities among the district partners. I look forward to hearing back from council regarding how they will address this.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. I will jump to, Candace, did you want to comment on anything?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. We definitely did. The consultation with the circulation process did happen, and the planning district, the McDonald-Reachot Planning District, recommended approval of this application. So for our new councillors on board with the circulation of the actual subdivision, they have the opportunity to comment. So they approved recommendation for approval, which happened at our past meeting. We've worked very, very hard with the municipality to ensure that everything would be connected. There is green space planned. There is interconnectivity between this and the adjacent property, which my client is also developing. There is active transportation in the works for this area, and MIT has been consulted to ensure that traffic impact studies, and there's no concerns there as well. So I think we've done everything in advance to appease all of the governmental branches of this, including the municipality and the planning district. And this is just the rezoning portion that happens now at the time after the subdivision has already been approved.
Perfect, thank you, I appreciate that. And then I'll just touch on Cindy's points about walkways, bike paths and stuff, which I agree with her 100%, we should see that. But just for the record, that comes when we create and work with the development plan, correct, Mr. CEO?
That is correct.
Thank you. So that just for the record, if anyone's watching this later on, I know that was a concern, so it'll get there with the developer and administration and whoever's on council investigating that DA. Okay, any final comments in person, in favor, online, on the phone, against, general comments, nothing? Okay, I believe
Councillor Pelche had a concern.
Yes, I was just opening that right now. I won't read the whole thing, but Councillor Pelche did want to, maybe Mr. CEO, you can explain it better than me.
As a result of the proposed rezoning, and I don't know if we could maybe put the map up there for the people to look at. And at the same time, I will do the same at my end. place, you just use the one for the hearing.
Yeah.
Notice of hearing,
Okay, sure.
that will work.
Yeah, there's a huge two.
So on the second page, there's the yellow and the pink. So the pink and on the inside are all to be rezoned as RG5, which is for single family. If anybody wants to do multifamily, in there, it's deemed as a conditional use, so they would have to come back to council and seek permission and have a public hearing. The areas in yellow are RG8. Now, it is our understanding right now that the outside area, along Main Street will be deemed for multifamily because it is allowed as a permitted use. The fear or the concerns that council may have is in regards to the north, east, and south portions of the development where it is zoned as RG8, that there may be an opportunity for more multifamily units to go in when it may be a vision of councils to have only single-family dwellings going in. So it's up to council to basically assess the risk of potential development and what is allowed under RG8 and what is not allowed. So.
Perfect, thank you. And yeah, Councillor Pelletier wanted to leave the public hearing open and then, again, it's just exactly what Mr. Giotto said, assess the risk and then make a decision at a later date. So I am wanting to leave the public hearing open. I have to set a date right now, correct?
If you set a date right now, we do not have to go through the whole hearing notification process again.
Perfect, so I will set a date for Tuesday, December 6th at our morning meeting. And that way we can just clarify and make sure we get what's best for the community. Council's in agreement with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, don't vote on that, it's just,
There's no.
thank you. Okay,
So therefore, having adjourned the hearing to a fixed date, council cannot proceed with second reading or third reading for that matter. So next on the topic would be
bylaws.
bylaws, 6.2.
Perfect. So we'll go to 6.2, bylaw 10/2021, rich hot water and wastewater utility rates, second reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bodnar, second. Councillor Belanger.
All right, so what I've done is I've provided council with, as brief as I could, summary, regarding the process of the public utilities rate change. As people may or may not know, we are currently under 4 utilities. We have the Ildishane utility, Sanigas utility, St. Adolph utility, and rural water utility. These utilities have not seen a rate increase since the early 2000s. And in 2019, the PUB, the Public Utilities Board, actually requested us to do a rate study as we've been incurring deficit here and there throughout some of these utilities. So in January of 2021, council passed a resolution to hire a consulting firm to produce the rate study, as well as looking at to amalgamate the utilities altogether, prepare a rate bylaw, address the past utility deficits that we've incurred, and if needed, attend on our behalf a Public Utilities Board hearing if required. So then, that was back in January. In June of 21, the consultants came back to council and presented a report that they had prepared. Council gave first reading to this bylaw in 2021 in July, and then sent that off to the PUB to start the approval process. Now, the major changes in the bylaw or the utilities is that we're going to be doing the amalgamation of the 4 utilities all as one utility. 2, that there were step rates in the past, so we're going to be eliminating step rates, and basically what that means is that if you use over a certain threshold of water, you start getting a discounted rate. That will no longer exist. And then also there will be a consistency on how wastewater, is calculated regarding, collection. Sanic Gap, was based on consumption, so whatever water you were using is what you were paying on your sewer rate. Unfortunately for Ile-des-Shane and St. Adolphe, it was a flat fee that was on your taxes. So a little bit of a different methodology regarding that. So that was done in July 2021. In October of 2021, the administration received a notice from the Public Utilities Board and regarding the process and having to go back to the customers in the utilities. So we advertised the rates in the carry-on. We put it in 5 prominent locations. We put it on our website. We put it on our bulletin boards. We also sent a connect message to our subscribers or utility users. And basically had a date of November 18th to get feedback from the customers out there. I guess there were some questions and concerns from the public, so an extension for feedback was extended to January 22nd of 2022. And again, notices were put out accordingly in all the locations to reflect the extension and the proposed rates that were mailed out in the utility bills. As a result of that extension, I believe we got about 8 inquiries and about 5 calculations to individual customers, and this was all summarized in the letter sent back to the PUB in January. And finally, in September, we received approval from the PUB regarding our rates. So this is where we are now. Now, part of the order in the PUB is that we communicate the rate, the proposed rate changes again, if council deems to give it second and third reading. So we will be doing that in 2 methods. One coming up in the December bills. We will say this is, beware, there will be a rate change for 2023. And then again, when they get their first quarter in March, we'll put out another notice as well with their utility bills. So,
Thank you.
it has taken 2 years
Rates have gone up since.
to get this. And they are asking that we stay on top of matters and that we have a study done for 2026 when these rates expire. So,
Perfect, thank you, I appreciate that.
it's a matter of staying on top of it now.
Okay, I'll open up for council discussion. Council, do you have anything to add?
I just wanted, can you just clarify, I missed something there. You said, you're gonna put a notice in the mail in December with the bills? And then again in March? What was the second one for?
The quarterly, so
Just
this,
to remind them
basically
again?
a reminder, yes, a double reminder that the rates are
Would they
going up.
think that, oh,
We're trying to, I understand we're trying not to get them confused,
yeah,
but that a notice that come January 2023, the rates will be increasing, and when they get their bill in 23, they'll likely see an increase if
Yeah.
they use the same amount of water all the time.
yeah.
They'll see that increase, just a reminder that it is because of the rate increase.
Also, the quarterly reminder will say, this is why it was increased,
Correct.
whereas the December one will say, it's
Watch out,
increasing.
it's increasing.
Okay, gotcha.
Something to that effect.
Got it.
We haven't figured that out
Okay.
yet, but
I just wanna know what the 2 different.
Good?
Yep.
Anything else from council to add? No? Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none, that is carried. 6.4, 6.3, thank you. Bylaw 10, 2021, Richard Water and Wastewater Utility Rates, third reading. Any final comments? Nothing, council?
same song and then.
Your council? Okay, all those in favor, I'll call for the question. All those in favor, sorry.
We need a move.
Mover, second.
Mover, sorry, mover, second, mover, Counselor Gondik, second, Counselor Bonnerchuk, zoned out here, discussion? Okay, call for the question, all those in favor, opposed, none, that is carried. 6.4, Counselor Dimash? Bylaw 14, 2022, organizational and established committees, first reading, do I have a mover? Counselor Bonnerchuk, second, Counselor Levine.
As part of the new council, we need to restructure our organizational, bylaw and establish the members that will be sitting on the committees. So council kind of threw around names, and, administration prepared the first draft for your review.
Thank you. Open for council discussion. Council, any last minute changes, questions regarding the appointments?
We'll let you know in a month.
Yeah. Say that. Okay.
No,
Okay.
it's all good.
Okay, I will call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None. That is carried. 6.5, bylaw 15, 2022, procedural bylaw, first reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Bonner-Chuck.
Once per term, it is a requirement from the municipal act that the council reviews their procedural bylaw. I like to do it at the start of the term, so that way council knows exactly what procedural bylaw is for the new members. I think one of the major changes there is that we are gonna, instead of having a 5:30 meeting, during July and August, that we start a little bit later at 7. Other than that,
It's still once a month.
it's still once a month though for July and August. We did add some clarifications. I think we had Dominion Day, which is basically Canada Day. Terry Fox Day and Truth and Reconciliation were added to the general holidays meaning. Yeah, and the rest is just some minor administration cleanup. Nothing changing the intent of the bylaw.
Perfect. Okay, discussion, comments from council?
I have a few.
Hit me up.
Item 6.0, it says no additions allowed after 24 hours, and then it says right after that, items have to be in 72 hours prior. So is there a difference? And it's like the 24 or 72, or is there two different, like, the reason I'm asking is because today I reviewed the whole agenda, and then tonight there's extra stuff on there, that there was some objection letters that came in, right? So, which is fine, I'm just wondering, like, are those included in that, or?
Yeah, I think the intent of this is for the topics to not
Okay.
change. Of course, for public hearings, there'll be
Yeah.
letters of support, or letters of the objection coming in. On the notices, it does state that they are to be submitted by noon of the day of the hearing.
Yeah, okay.
Very often we'll get letters at 2, 3 o'clock. We do our best to try to include those as well
Okay,
and try to stay as up to the date as we can. But sometimes it's just one of those things. The 72 hours is basically the Friday before the weekend, gives administration time to put everything on the agenda, gives time for council to review matters over the weekend and ask questions come Monday, hopefully Monday, because I try not to work on Saturday, Sunday. And
yeah,
just to try to help things along, so.
so, okay,
Just to add to that, like when an agenda is presented, we can still adopt the agenda with
Changes.
as a change.
at this time, yeah. I'm just, am I reading it wrong, or is there a contradiction, or is it just?
No,
Because
and
it says
basically
that no
it says,
additions to the agenda will be allowed within 24 hours, and then it
Correct.
says all items to be placed on the agenda
prior
must-
72 hours.
must be
before.
provided. So it's almost like,
Council must be notified.
we've got a must and we've got a no.
Okay, well, it's 72 hours before.
Mhm.
If anything is added, council needs to be brought, it has to be brought to their attention 72 hours,
Yeah,
okay? And no additions will be allowed within the 24 hours.
okay, I get it now. No, within this 24 hours. Okay, thank you. Okay,
Because if I could be mean and put salaries and whatever at last minute and
yeah,
stun you guys, but that's not
yeah.
the intent, right? So,
Okay, I have one other dumb question. Item 7.6, council shall observe a curfew whereby the item on the agenda under the discussion at 10 PM and 5 PM will be the last item dealt with. What's 5 PM?
your day meetings. So if you start at 9, the last one.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah. It could.
Well, I saw
It
that, I'm
could.
like, are you kidding me?
It could.
Do you wanna change it to 9:15?
It could.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no, fair enough, I thought.
You
that
are
was like-
here and you wanna go home. The evening meetings usually start at 7 by 10. Unless you wanna change that to noon
No,
for the
it
9 o'clock meeting.
never happens, I just
Yeah.
wanted to clarify if
But
that
it
was
is
right
there.
or not, okay.
She said it.
They're all as they grumble away.
Last question, I think I just wanna clarify, item 10.4, council may not reconsider or reverse a decision with 1 year after it is made unless, and then item B, a member gives written notice to the council. So remember, that means a council member, right? Unless the council member gives written
Yes.
notice? Okay.
On the agenda, there's always that, notice of motion,
Mhm.
which a lot of people may not know how to use.
What are you saying?
And it's basically if council thinks that a decision didn't go quite the right way and they want to rediscuss it at the next meeting, if the decision was made and you want to bring it back to the table, this is the way you,
That council member can.
so that way you give notice to council members that, hey, I want to flag this, I want to bring this at such a meeting, and everybody gets the notice. So whether you show up or not at that meeting, you receive at least notification.
But we have yet to do that.
It hardly happens,
I think we did
but
it
it's
once.
there.
No.
Not a
No,
month.
we didn't. You wouldn't allow it, no.
It's a procedural thing, that's why it's in your procedural bylaws.
Perfect, no, those are all the questions, thanks for clarifying.
Awesome. Anything else from council? Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Carried, thank you. 6.6, bylaw 16/2022, residential and utility capital fees, 2023 to 2025, first reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second. Councillor Blanchet.
When there are subdivisions and developments that occur, developers need to pay a residential and a utility capital fee. This is because they are basically sucking up the infrastructure of, the existing facilities that we may have. And in order to expand or replenish or beautify, the requirements, capital fees are implemented. Now, this is not rocket science, this is educated projections of what will be needed and those costs associated with that. These are engineers that work closely with our public works manager to identify those needs, and upgrades that will be required as a result of development. And our rates are expiring in 2022, so we need to set down new rates for 23. And the proposal came back, and to include in the utility capital fees, an extra $500 for meters that go into the homes. So that will be captured as part of the development capital fees. So having said that, proposed rates are what you see there. It is basically a where did my number go? I just saw it not that long ago. I think it was a 2.85% increase from the previous year. And of course, we need to try to project for 24 and 25. And with cost of living, it's very hard to determine a factor, but 5% is what we are recommending. And when I say we, it is the engineers at WSP. So you have the table breakdown as to what those rates will be now.
Thank you. I'll open up for council comments, discussions, questions.
Just a question, why aren't we doing the 2026 one as well?
That's up to council.
No, I just wanted,
We could do a 4-year term. It depends how fast the development occurs as well. If there's not too much development, then your fees are okay. If there's a lot of development, maybe you do want to change your rates sooner than later. I'm very open to include a 26 rate at 5% from the 25, entirely up to council.
If a question, we can ask council right now. Did you want to add a 2026?
When was the, recommended review for the PUB, rates? They said to review it every.
2026.
So, so our rates are for 25. Yeah,
Right.
good till
So
25, so
26
review in
review.
26, so
It kind of,
Is it-
that's what I'm getting at. So whether we wait for the review for the other one, or we do it now? No, it changes that much.
Doesn't matter. I was just curious. Okay, then I'll make,
I'd like to wait to.
yeah, I was gonna
Yeah, you never
say.
See how it's going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot could change until two. Okay, anything else from council?
Compared to other RMs,
I don't have those
you
figures.
don't have those figures, okay.
According to the developers, way too high.
Yes, that's what I've heard too.
It's a beautiful place to live.
Yeah, great, country skies. Anything else from council? No, I'll call for the question, all those in favor? It's carried, thank you. 7.1.1, 4165, 228180, Chartier one lot farmstead. Do I have a mover? Councilor Bonnerchuck, second, Councilor Lemoine.
As discussed in planning, this is a farmstead subdivision, removing the farm acreage away from the agricultural land, just down St. Mary's Road, closer to the St. Gap area.
Thank you, open up for council discussion, anything to comment on?
Pretty standard procedure, yeah.
I'll call for the question, all those in favor? That's carried, thank you. 7.1.2, 4165, 228196, Data Roche's Construction LTD one lot consolidation. Do I have a mover? Councilor Boulanger, second. Councilor Bonnerchuck.
Again, similar in nature, however, this one is in the Old Deschênes southwest area of town. Looking to peel off the shed and home from the agricultural land attached to it. No need to worry about future subdivisions and homes to the south, as there is a lagoon slash landfill there, so they're restricted as to proximity to that facility.
Perfect, I'll open it up for council discussion. Nothing to add. Call for the question, all those in favor? That's carried, thank you. 7.2.1, October 2022 building permit reports, do I have a mover? Councilor Lemoine, second by Councilor Bonnerchuck.
Council will all have a copy of the stats for 2022 October, 16 permits, 2.8 million in construction value, total permits of 9,000, a little down as far as permits and values, brings us up to 2022 total of 209 permits, $50 million in assessment value construction, and 148,000 in building permits, again, trailing a little bit from 2021 at this point in time. Council also has a list of the permits of the 16 that I've indicated.
Thank you, I'll open up for council comments, discussions. We've got to be getting close to the 3/4 of the billion in assessment value. Mr. CEO, do we know those numbers?
Overall,
Yeah.
for the RM, I do not off the top of my head.
No, I'm just curious, if you could find that for me, that'd be great. Anything else?
I have a question about, the permit fee, and I think I've asked Tony this before, and I just keep forgetting, so I just, maybe if Mr. CEO or assistant would know. Is the permit fee based on square footage of the,
It depends on the project.
or the
for
value, or the dollar value?
No, it's not based on dollar value. It's
Oh, okay.
X number of cents per square foot,
Okay,
depending on the size of
That's
the
what I
home. Development permits are a flat $100, I think, so depending what you're doing.
Right.
If it's a deck, I believe it's a development permit, so size of the deck doesn't matter, so.
Because the dollar value is, it looks like it's almost estimated sometimes, because one says 500,000, and obviously it's not just 500,000 here, so I'm just wondering if it's based on dollar value, kind of,
Oh, but the 500,000 is just an estimate of,
of construction.
for construction
Yeah,
purposes.
that's what I was wondering,
Yes.
because if you're basing it off that, and it's just an
No,
estimate, how do
no,
you?
it's based
it's a
on
square footage,
square footage, yes.
Good?
I'll ask again in 3 months.
Yes. And then it's on my asterisk for me, careful opinion. Okay, I'll call for the question, all those in favor? That's carried, thank you. 7.2.2, LD Shane, daycare pilot project, part 1, provincial financial assistance agreement. Do I have a mover? Councillor Boulanger, second. Councillor Lemoine. All right, one of my big projects on my plate right now is with the provincial announcement of daycares throughout the capital region, Richard being one of the 9 proposed. So council has an information package regarding the project overview, who John Q. Built Incorporated is, regarding the daycare, what that project is all about. There's a list of partnerships regarding local governments, Heading Lane, McDonald, Richard, Morris, Peguis First Nations, the city and RM of Portage, St. Clement, Stonewall, and Whitemouth. There's the organizational structure, so most of the CAOs for those municipalities, entities are sitting on that committee, as well as the building committee, sitting mostly all building inspectors. And our own Louis Ruier, building inspector, is not with the RM of Rosser, just to clarify that, as in the report, he is from Richard. So that is just a typo, have no fear, he'll show up tomorrow for work as with the roster. Exactly. So basically, the project is a 74 unit daycare unit. The financial agreement that we are looking to enter is between the province and the municipality. That sum of dollars, I believe, is around the $3.8 million. So once the agreements are signed, those funds will be forwarded immediately to the RMs in trust, of course, that it's not for CAO vacations, but for a daycare moving forward. Council will have a copy of the financial agreement as best as we could do it. This document has been reviewed by legal counsel, so we're good to go for that. We also have in there your frequently asked questions, so if I don't have the answers, please go to that document. As far as documents go, you also have drawings as to what the daycare will look like. It is one of these build off sites, move it on, screw it together, Lego block type of style system. We are the guinea pigs, the 9 are guinea pigs for this project, seeing how it works. Hopefully the province will roll out many, many more to come in the future. And I think that's all I could say about that for now. Thank you, Mr. Seal. Open up for council comments. I'll be the first to say that I'm very excited to see this project, one of the first 9 in Manitoba, so I think it's going to be great for this community, and if all goes well, I will go to the next town in Richard for another one, and then another one, and then another one, and then another one. I'll stop at 5 for this. Anything else from council?
I'm just looking like the drive, like one of the pictures, the driveway, the parking pads, all that is done by them?
No, basically the financial agreement is for the building itself.
Oh.
Anything outside of the building scope is municipal responsibility. So parking, bringing in the sewer and water, bringing in the hydro,
Trees.
trees, landscaping, stuff like that. I think there are funds, in a separate program for the daycares, for furnishing, for play structures, for fencing, for the playground area. So that's a separate grant, but that's between the province and the daycare providers. And on that note, the provider RFP went out today. And so there'll be a solicitation for a nonprofit daycare to come in and run, the facility.
I'm going to be, I would like to know when this building gets moved on. I'm curious to see how they're gonna move it. I was looking at the drawings and trying to figure out where is it divided, where is it split in quarters, how big it'll fit on a truck, like, right now it doesn't look like it's divisible, but curious.
Like I said, I think these are Lego blocks more than anything
Yeah.
else. The walls are gonna be pre-built. Every wall
So
will be
it's not
built.
necessarily the whole
Fine.
building coming?
No, it will be walls.
That's on the site?
Correct.
It's not the
And if you have one wall, you'll have 9 walls, because all the other walls are gonna go to all the other buildings.
Perfect.
What was the time frame to put on this?
Originally it was spring, but I think it's looking more like July.
Well, construction will be ASAP,
Yeah.
hopefully to be open by September 2023 for the school season.
Yes, right, July to September.
And, weird question, but do we have a say on siding and roof? Just correct me if I'm wrong, with the Trans-Canada, is that a red?
Red with gray.
Red, yes, yeah, some of the features, the outside colors and stuff like that is customizable.
Okay.
Not necessarily blue.
We're looking at yellow, so it's the McDonald's look.
The big arches.
Yes,
There's some,
just for
some customization, but,
Okay.
If they're cookie cuttering, they're
it's
gonna
a
be wanting
cookie,
to.
it is a cookie cut, yes.
But red and blue's not a bad thing, is it? No, I don't know. Anyway,
No, it's exciting. Very
So the
exciting.
resolution is to enter into an agreement with the province and basically allow the mayor and CEO to be authorized to sign the agreement.
Mr. C, you can call me whatever you want. Code of conduct. Yeah. That's it.
It took him 6 minutes to do.
Yeah, 6:40.
Okay, I'll call for the question, all in favor?
Opposed, none, that's carried. 7.2.3, Elder Shane Daycare Pilot Project Part 2, John Q. Built General Service Agreement. Do I have a mover? Counselor Bonner-Chuck, second, Counselor LeBlanc.
All right, as there are 9 of these being built, the company John Q. Built will be responsible to ensure that all 9 entities kind of follow the same route. So in that, they will have staff that will be reviewing costs from the construction companies when you come in, authorized payment to be released. So they'll be the middle people doing all the checks and balances to ensure that we're all complying under the same rules, consistency throughout the 9. For that, they will charge a service fee, and that is in the agreement with them. And then you basically have a general Schedule A that tells you what they will do, what we will do, et cetera. So it's almost a third-party administration. But we'll be hands-on as well.
Okay, comments from council?
I do have a question, this probably should have been asked in the last part, but what is the warranty on this thing? Who looks after any warranty issues, for how long is that period?
I believe it's a 1-year warranty after substantial completion. So the John Q. Built people that we are entertaining an agreement with will be responsible to ensure that all that warranty work gets done. And then after that 1-year warranty, if something pops up later on, then it is up to the municipality as it will be our building that we own.
Would be 1 year from completion date or 1 year from opening date?
for completion date.
Completion, okay.
Any other questions?
Completion date or, walking around the building, verifying
Yeah,
that.
walking or whatever, yeah.
Exactly.
Any questions about the service agreement? Call for the question, all those in favor? That is carried, thank you. 7.2.4, Ella Shane Daycare Pilot Project Part 3, John Q. Built, CCDC 1423 ADT. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Lemoine.
Now that we have John Q in place as our building consultant representative in the project, it is a recommendation from legal, that they are the ones that are gonna sign the CCDC agreement. In short, CCDC stands for, pardon me, don't quote me please, a very, very boring document regarding construction.
The Canadian.
It is a
Construction.
document, yay thick, and, has everything from paint quality to gym rock to plumbing to
Type of nails.
type of nails, screw heads, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, in doing so, the resolution authorizes us to give permission to their board to sign off on the CCDC agreement and mitigates liabilities to the municipalities that are participating.
Canadian Construction Documents Committee.
Yep. It's the general, it's the common contract between owner and contractor.
Perfect. Go ahead.
So in any one of these points during construction, could they RFP for local contractors, or do they have a crew, or?
My understanding is that some things they will have their own, but when it comes to either plumbing or electrical, when they come on site, they will likely be looking for local people.
I'm just wondering, because it seems to be a template that costs this much, and all bids would have to be.
I think they'll be very selective as to trades, but
But then again, they're building 9 at the same time, so they can't use their own.
they can't vary too far away
Yeah,
from their.
Only nine of the same.
That's the goal, is to get all 9 done within the same 6 month time
Okay,
period.
okay.
So, I was in the meeting with, the committee that chose the, GC, and, that's what they said, is they will be using as much as possible local trades they can.
It's beneficial for all, proximity to the job site
Exactly.
and calling back.
Well, they don't want to pay somebody from here to go to Stonewall and, or vice versa,
That's right,
when there's trades available for each.
that's right.
Yeah. Good. Any questions on this, CCDC? ACDC? That was close. Okay, I'll call for the question, all in favor? That is carried.
7.3, notice of motion. This is where in your procedural bylaw, if you have something to bring forward,
Something
that you will disregard.
Why y'all looking at me?
Item 10, adjournment. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Lemoine. Final comments? None, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. I will close the meeting at 8:10 PM. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Until next time.